The Green Bay Packers 53-man roster is finally set. It is currently 4:23 p.m. on Tuesday, so I am quite literally was waiting for this report to come out. As you can see on your screen, like I said, it's freaking here. I'm so excited for football season. I just cannot wait. I mean, it's been such a so long off season. If you guys do hear a lot of background noise, I have no clue you can hear. It's about to start pouring here, thundering like crazy, so I can't help it if you guys hear the thunder, so my bad. Freaking breaking news, as I'm literally just freaking starting to film this, I just get news saying that AJ Dillon is going to be out for the rest of the year with the neck injury. Holy crap. As you can see right here, I mean, this article is posted like at 4 o'clock on a dot Eastern time, by the way, but now AJ Dillon is officially out for the year. That's gonna be really unfortunate for him because he was already on the roster bubble for like the last year or two. I mean, last year, of course, you know, he's like no worried about the roster, but this year we actually didn't even know if he was gonna make the roster or not, and now he's guaranteed being out for the rest of the season. I don't know. I just literally got the update that threw me for a loop, so I'm sorry. But now let's start with the quarterbacks. I did a trade video with Malik Willis earlier today, so if you have guys not watched that, go watch that video right after this video. But of course, Jordan Love is QB number 1, Malik Willis number 2, and then we cut Sean Clifford and Michael Pratt. Like I said in the other video, you know, Sean Clifford and Michael Pratt were just not living up to expectations. We really did not feel confident. You know, we as in the Packer organization, not the Packer organization. Well, I mean, technically we kind of own it. But anyways, you know, us Packer fans didn't really feel confident with the backup quarterback. And I was like saying in the Malik Willis trade, I think he's a significant upgrade in that backup spot. Now with our running backs, we got Josh Jacobs at the number 1, Marshawn Lloyd number 2, and Emmanuel Wilson number 3. We cut Ellis Merriweather and Nate McCary. Of course, Josh Jacobs is going to be a complete ball hawk this year. I think he's going to be phenomenal. He's going to have so much less stress to worry about compared to when he was with the Las Vegas Raiders. Marshawn Lloyd, he's been injured for most of the training camp, so we'll see exactly what he does this year. You know, number 2 running back, so that's pretty good. And Emmanuel Wilson, who had a great offseason, you know, great training camp. You know, he had a great preseason too, so I think he definitely deserves a spot. Now AJ Dillon, like I said just a couple minutes ago, out for the year. That is a big blow for him. And before I forget about it again, you know, if the audio is a little echoey, like I said in my other video as well, this will be fixed, and I'm gonna try to do the best I can to make it not as echoey. But yeah, like I said, I've got a new setup, so like I gotta get a couple of foam things, soundproof things, so by the end of this weekend it'll be completely fixed. I just want to say that before getting too further into details until I forget again, whatever. The wide receivers, we got Romeo, Jaden, Christian, Dontavion, Malik Heath, and Bo Melton. We released Grant DeBose, Samori Toure, Julian Hicks, Dimitri Stanley, and Jalen Wayne. This is completely expected, especially Romeo, Jaden, Christian, Dontavion. Those are complete locks, so we weren't worried about them. It was about the Malik Heath. I thought Bo Melton was a lock too, but technically Malik Heath is the number 5, which is actually surprising. He's over Bo Melton. I thought Grant had a good chance of making the roster just because he had a great preseason and training camp, but Malik Heath also deserved it as well, and I'm not too mad about this at all with the wide receiver room. The tight ends are Luke Musgrave, Tucker Kraft, and Ben Sims. IR again is Tyler Davis. Again, he hasn't seen the field in like 2 years. Then we released Joel Wilson, Messiah Swinson, and Henry Pearson. Completely expected with this tight end group. I thought that number 2, Luke Musgrave, and Tucker Kraft were guarantees. You know, I thought Ben Sims and maybe Tyler Davis had a spot for that number 3, but I like it how it is. Now, the offensive line, one of the bigger groups, of course. I'm going to just basically say the release players. Royce Newman, finally adios. You know, he's been such a wishy-washy offensive lineman for the longest, so I'm not too mad about that, unfortunately. No personal feelings or anything. It's just, when the business is the business, so I'm sorry, Royce. Caleb Jones, Luke Tenuta, Lecitus Smith. I haven't even heard half of these players, if I had to be honest. Well, most of these released players. And then Donovan Jennings. You know, I really had high hopes for Donovan Jennings. I thought he was a really good undrafted free agent. But injuries kill players, literally. And that's one of the reasons why he got released. And by the way, before I even get to the rest of the roster details, I do want to say that I think, well, we all know, of course, you know, 50%. At least 50% of these players can be picked up on a practice squad. Of course, other players are going to be picked up by other teams, so it's going to be really unfortunate. Like, some of these players are going to be let go. Unfortunately, they'll get picked by other teams. But of course, we all want all these players back in their practice squad, but that just don't how it works. So yeah, I just want to say that real quick. But other than that, I think the offensive line room is basically expected. I'm actually a little shocked that Andre Dillard made the team. Of course, he was a first-round pick a few years ago with the Titans, and he's struggled so bad with the Titans and with the Eagles, and he kind of struggled in camp this year. So I am a little surprised with that one, but other than that, I'm not surprised at all with this offensive line group. No shockers here on the defensive line. Of course, Preston Smith for Sean Gary, Lucas Van Ness, Kingsley, Brenton Cox, and Aaron Mosby. I thought that Aaron Mosby had a phenomenal camp this year, and he had, you know, okay first or two games in the preseason, but his third and final preseason game against the Ravens completely balled out, and that definitely earned him in the roster spot. But other than that, I am not shocked by this group at all. I think, you know, it's really strong. So I like where the Packers are at here. Same thing with the defensive ends. The defensive tackles are not a shocker whatsoever. Of course, Kenny Clark, TJ, Devontae, Carl, Colby. These were the 5 stars. I thought this was no really debate of who was going to be fighting for a roster spot. The D-lines and defensive tackles I thought were kind of solidified as it was. Like I said, Aaron Mosby was fighting for that spot. And, you know, maybe one of the other ones that were released had a chance. But, yeah, this was completely a no-brainer for me. So I'm not shocked by this whatsoever. Now, moving on to the linebackers, we got Quay Walker, Isaiah McDuffie, Eric Wilson, Edgerrin Cooper, and Tyron Hopper. No big shockers there with the inside linebackers, but I am definitely upset that Christian Welch was released. Now, hopefully we can sign into the practice squad, of course. I truthfully think he's going to get picked up by another team for sure. Who? I have no freaking clue, of course, but I thought he had a great training camp. Excuse me. And then, you know, preseason, I thought he did really well, and I thought he maybe get that number 4, number 5 spot. But, of course, things happen, and this is the one that I'm kind of upset about. But other than that, I love every other one. You know, I really like Quay Walker. I want to see more Edgerrin Cooper this year because he's been so hurt already. I don't even think he played any preseason games. I like what Tyron Hopper has done too, so I'm not mad about this at all. I just hope that we pick up Christian Welch. And now with the cornerbacks, I don't think a lot of these are a shocker except for one. Jair Alexander, of course, Eric Stokes, Keyshawn Carrington, and Corey Ballantyne. Now, the one thing that shocked me was Kalen King being released. I thought the Packers might able to have 6 cornerbacks on the roster, and that's fine. You know, I trust the Packers' judgment here for sure. And I was a little disappointed because I thought Kalen King did really well this training camp and preseason games. But again, like I keep saying earlier in the video, you know, hopefully these players can get signed to the practice squad before they get taken up by the other teams. And if he did get taken up by another team, it is what it is. You know, you released him, so you got to take that gamble. But I am a little disappointed with Kalen King for sure. Now, with our safety room, definitely a complete different team from last year. Xavier McKinney, Javon Bullard, Evan Williams, and Zane Anderson. Zane Anderson did shock me just a little bit. And I'm just reading this now. These are like my initial reactions, though, reading this, because I had a couple ideas earlier. We released Anthony Johnson Jr. That is kind of disappointing. That's actually kind of a shocker. I mean, I know Katan would be on the team. I knew that Evan Williams, Javon Bullard, Xavier McKinney, of course. I am a little shocked about Zane Anderson and Anthony Johnson. I think they should switch, though. And I know that Zane Anderson's a really good special teamers, but I thought Anthony Johnson Jr. was just a better overall player. Wow, that is definitely a little disappointing. But then again, you know, this is the Packers. They know a lot more than I do as a Packer fan. Wow. Let me know what you think down in the comments about that one as a Packer fan. Let me know if you like that or not, or let me know the biggest shock to you. So yeah, let me know in the comments real quick. And then last but not least, one of the biggest ones, if I had to be honest here, Anders Carlson, the Packers' nightmare. Well, I wouldn't say nightmare, but he did, made us really upset a lot. Anders Carlson did get cut after just 1 year in the NFL. And of course, we all know, Packer fans, we all freaking know how inconsistent he was. He was just very unreliable. And of course, Greg Joseph and Anders Carlson both had pretty bad camps, I've had to be honest. And I thought personally, coming into this week, I thought Anders was going to be our guy just because of the fact that Greg Joseph has not just been good at all. So, and then it was completely vice versa. So, am I shocked? Yes, but no about Anders Carlson. I do think, he was so inconsistent. At least Greg Joseph had a couple of good years. I actually made a video about him a long time ago whenever the Packers initially signed him. And has he been good lately? Of course not, but I do think he's more trustworthy than Anders Carlson. When it came down to kicking, he did lose us a couple of games last year. It is what it is. And I hope he does find a spot with another team. I really hope he does, but I truthfully don't think he's going to be signed to the practice squad. So I think Anders Carlson is done. That wraps up this video. If you do like it, hit that like button. Subscribe if you are brand new. I got a whole bunch of videos coming your way very, very soon. And let me know your biggest reactions towards this breakdown because, like I said, there's a couple of really big shockers with the Packers and their trade candidates. Not trade candidates, but cut candidates and all that crap. So, yeah, I'm out of here. Deuces.